Hey, it's Eric Rhoads, a fine art connoisseur and Plein magazine. We are live. I'm going to wait before we get into too much detail for some people to get on board. As you know, when you're live, it takes people some time to get notifications, and we're live on multiple platforms. We have Cheri Christensen as our guest today. Say hi, Cheri.
Hi, I'm Cheri Christensen, and the barking you hear is my little dog Zoe. So she may be partaking in this.
Well, is there any way you can grab her and bring her over and let us see her? Or
you want to see her for a sec? Okay, she might.
Yeah, we want to see her. We don't mind if she's in the shot.
You want to begin? Come on, girl. Ready? One.
Well, this should be interesting. This is a brand new puppy. Oh my goodness.
This is not a little puppy.
Oh my goodness.
Zoe, look, Zoe.
Hi.
There you go.
Oh, and what's is it a he or she?
She, it's Zoe, a girl.
Zoe, and what Zoe is her name? Okay. And how old is Zoe?
Zoe is about 13 weeks and about 36 pounds.
Wow. And your last when I last saw you, you came over to the house. You were having some problems with your dog at the time, and you had for how many years?
10 years, 7 months, Elmo.
Wow.
Very
and so did you jump right in and get a puppy right away?
Not right away, but it was really hard. I hadn't been without a dog for over 25 years. So Zoe just became available, and we hopped in the car and went and got her.
Oh, she's beautiful.
What
a beautiful dog. All right. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Cheri. I'm going to drop off, do a couple announcements, and then we're going to bring you back. And then we're going to talk about some concepts in painting that I think will be really valuable for folks. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well, today is day number, what day is it? Oh, we need a drum roll, 140 days. I've been here with you guys 140 days in a row since the beginning of quarantine. I started about 1 week after the quarantines began, at least where I was. And the goal was to just be here for you, to be here every single day, no matter what. No days off in 140 days. I did screw up one day and get in a little late one day, but the goal here is to get you thinking about art, get you considering art as an option. A lot of people are discovering this. We've had people from 30, 40, 50 countries around the world watching. And I've been getting reports from some of these artists that we've been doing visits with who are getting lots and lots of visits to their website. Deborah Hughes was on the other day, and she had 700 different people visit her website for her free offering and sold a bunch of paint. And she heard from 30 or 40 countries, I think is what she said. So that's pretty cool. I want to remind you guys that we have a prize every day. What I'm going to do for a while here, for just the next few days, I'm just going to give away a Plein Air magazine digital subscription. These are fabulous. Plein Air magazine is the #1 selling art magazine in America at Barnes & Noble, which is the biggest distributor in America. And we're in the photography and art category, and we're the #1 publication in both of those. And they like it so much, they put it at the cash registers, which is pretty cool. We also just learned, this is very exciting, starting in October, we're going to be in Michael's stores. There are, to my knowledge, no art magazines in Michael's stores, and Plein Air magazine will be in 278 Michael's stores. I have no idea how many stores there are in the country, but we're pretty excited about that. And so when that time comes in October, we're going to need to make sure that they sell out, so they keep restocking. So you guys will have to go in and buy them. I want to tell you that for the month of August, we are giving away a painting, a Carl Dempwolf painting worth $6,000, including a handmade custom frame, which is pretty cool. He's also a woodworker. And so you have an opportunity to win this. You only need to enter one time. And just go to paintinggiveaway.com and enter, and you have a chance to win. Also, a reminder that let's see if I get my stuff here right. Plein Air podcast, lots of new recordings coming every single week. We have a brand new recording. Just did one with Rose Franson, And then also just did one with Brienne Brown. So watch for those. Those should, Rose Franson should be out. Brienne Brown should be out either today or tomorrow. And so watch for that. And make sure that you listen to the podcast. And you can get it at iTunes or any place you get podcasts. We also have one called the Art Marketing Minute. And I do that every week. And it gives you ideas. We answer your questions on art marketing. So that's a fairly brief podcast, usually 5-10 minutes, but hopefully good information for you guys. I want to remind you that Plein Air Live took place about 3 weeks ago now, and our guest had something to do with that. Anyway, Plein Air Live was such a success, and by watching everybody that was participating in Plein Air Live, I was noticing that a lot of people had paintings on their walls that were other kinds of paintings. You know, you look at like Andy Evanson there. I don't know if you can see him, but he's got paintings of figures on there. People are doing figures and still life and all kinds of different things. And as a result, we decided to do Realism Live. And so Realism Live is going to be all about the various things that you paint in the form of realism, meaning you can tell what it is. So we're going to have flowers. We're going to have landscapes. We're going to have portraits. Going to have different styles of portraits, still life, human figures, and lots of different variation. We have a phenomenal faculty so far, and we're just now getting started, but we have Daniel Gerhartz, also Juliet Aristides, and then Graydon Parrish, Josh LaRock, Rose Franson, Daniel Sprick, and some big surprises right around the corner. We're just waiting for confirmations. And that is going to take place in October. And so the idea is we're teaching realism, not abstract painting. There's nothing wrong with abstract painting, but realism, we're going to teach you realism. And if you are a beginner, we have a beginner's day on the 20th of October so that you can start from scratch, not having any knowledge. We're going to teach you the basics of drawing and painting various subjects and so on. And then the rest of the days, the 21st through the 24th, we got 4 days of content. We're going to fill it up. It's going to be like a fire hose in a teacup. There's so much information. So make sure that you sign up. It's called Realism Live, and you can find it at realismlive.com. I should also tell you that we are still planning on doing Fall Color Week, and we still have a lot of people coming. I think we have about 70 or 75 coming. We have slots for about 85 or 90. We had some cancellations, of course, but a lot of people are now reconsidering whether or not they can come. If you sign up for any of our events and you cannot make it because of coronavirus, then we will give you a full refund, of course. So you can still sign up for Fall Color Week. It's in the White Mountains in October. I'm going to go straight from the Adirondacks to the White Mountains, hopefully, if it's warm enough. And so that's coming up. The other thing is you want to get your ticket for the Plein Air Convention for this spring in Colorado. It will take place as far as we know. Of course, a lot of people are making plans for what's going to be happening once we get beyond all this coronavirus stuff. I also am taking in September of 21, about a year from now, a group of artists starting about Labor Day. We're going to go for about, just a little over 2 weeks. We're going to be touring Russia, painting the great iconic landscapes and buildings of Russia. We're going to see the art of Russia, meet Russian artists, go to artist studios, and we're going to paint in the places where the great masters of Russia painted. You will have a blast. I can only take 50 people. We don't have the pricing up yet, but we are asking for people to apply to attend. The application is simply because we want to make sure that you're healthy enough to be able to be in the middle of the country where there are no hospitals or no easy health care because we're going to be out in the countryside. And so it's not dangerous. We don't think it's dangerous or we wouldn't go, but we do want to make sure that you can walk around and that you can be healthy. This is not a trip that's going to be easy for some people. And so you want to make sure it's easy for you. All right. So that's pretty much all my announcements. I think I've got everything out of the way. Wait, I did not do my winner. Let's see. Did I do a winner today? I think so. Yes. So the winner of the digital subscription for Plein Air Magazine from yesterday is Deborah Daly in Flagstaff, Arizona. So applause and congrats. Give a thumbs up and a like to Deborah Daly. And thank you, Deborah, for watching. And now you're going to have your own digital subscription. I should mention that the digital subscription to Plein Air Magazine is 25% larger than Plein Air Magazine, because we always have to limit ourselves by the amount of pages we have, but we always have more images, so we do have more stuff. Now, today we have a really terrific video for you at 3 p.m., Street Scenes with Ken Oster. Now, Ken Oster has passed on. He is a brilliant man, was a brilliant man, and you're going to want to watch that. So I think I have some pictures of the video here. Let me see. Yes. So I had such a good time. I actually produced this. I was there with Ken Oster when we shot it. I did not know at the time that Ken was dealing with some health issues, and they just got worse and worse and worse. But we sat on the corner of this small town in let's see, where was it? Maine. And he showed us the entire process. It was just amazing to watch it come together. And he's such a silly guy and such a fun guy. We had a great time. We had people walking up to us and in the streets. And so it's a really terrific video. You're going to see a snippet of that tomorrow. And of course, we offer discounts on these videos we're putting out there every day. So yesterday, you saw Cheri Christensen. Cheri Christensen was doing one of the videos yesterday, and now she is our guest today. Cheri Christensen, welcome to, I don't have a name for this broadcast. I guess we ought to have a name the broadcast contest.
Sounds good. Yeah. Have them name it.
Yeah. So tell us where you are.
Well, I'm here in San Antonio, Texas. And I know you're usually in Texas, but not now. So we're at different ends. I'm in my studio. So my studio actually was the master bedroom of this house. When we saw this house, we loved it. It has a beautiful pool, backs up to a canyon, but there was no studio. And I have students all the time going, well, how do I paint? I don't have the perfect studio. I don't have the space. Well, you can make the space. We had no need for this big of a master bedroom, so it's only room upstairs. So I have the whole upstairs and made it into a studio. So I love that.
Oh, that's outstanding. That's nice. Well, that's creative, and that shows where your priorities are.
Yeah, it does.
So how would you describe what it is you do as an artist?
Well, as an artist, I paint color and light. I usually paint farm animals because I grew up in the country and that's what was near and dear to me. But I also sometimes paint street scenes or restaurant scenes, but it's always color and light, and it's always shapes of light and shadow. I don't really think objects when I'm painting. I just think of, I see light that really moves me, and the shapes of light and shadow, and that's what motivates me, that plus color.
Well, you and I got to know each other recently because you came to Austin where we have our soundstage, and you did a video. I'm going to show it. You did a video called The Color of White, Making Your Whites Come to Life. And I just wanted to show the imagery of the ducks. And it was really interesting because we filmed you in the process. I wish I had that picture of you down on your knees taking pictures of ducks. But we filmed you taking these pictures of the ducks, and you're using photo reference because you couldn't get them to stand still. But if you look at these ducks, so this is what I found fascinating about this video. If you look at these ducks and you were to hold up a white card in the scene, there's nothing on there that is pure white. And of course, in a photograph, it tends to blow it out a little bit anyway. But and the one thing that I think we all get a little confused about is painting the color of white. And I know you've got a whole video about it, but I thought maybe that'd be a good thing to start with, is to talk about how do you paint whites? What should you be thinking about?
Well, color is relative. So you have to be thinking about the time of the day, whether you're painting outside, plein air, or if you're using a photo, remember the time of the day you took the photo. Obviously, I like a lot extreme backlighting. I like sunny days. Some people like more of a moody kind of atmosphere. So I like a warm light. So if I'm painting something that has white in it, I mean, I'm not just going to automatically put a color on there. Everything that's in that situation is relative to each other. How warm or cool it is, what value it is, how intense or how grayed out a color is. So I'm comparing everything as I'm doing it. But if it's a warm day, like with the ducks, and also I have a rooster here. Let's see if we can see it. A little bit of glare. Let's see.
Yeah, let me go to full screen for you. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you can see this is a white rooster. I'm with some black on him. And there's a lot of color in there. And I don't think there's one spot that's straight white paint. So I didn't just make up those colors. I chose those colors by comparing, which is warmer, which is cooler. And then the values. Most of this is all in shadow with just a little bit of light on it. So it was a fairly dark, end of the evening kind of thing. So you can't paint something at that time of night the same color. There's no formula that you would do early in the morning or afternoon light, with the light hitting straight down. Sorry, that's Zoe, my puppy. But just a second, I'm gonna throw her a bone.
Throw her a bone. Oh, so you're prepared. You're gonna need a lot of those today.
Come on. Yeah, I might need a few. The husband swore he would save her if I need her to go out. So we'll see. Oh, there's a.
If you're just tuning in and you didn't see earlier, you'll have to look at the replay to meet the puppy. So anyway, you were saying.
Yeah. So what you do when you're painting the light, and if we have time, I have this blocked in. These are all shadow colors, even though this is looking light right now. But when I put the lights on it, which is the white in light with warm light on it, you'll see how all of this falls into shadow.
Yeah, we'll make some time for that. I think that would be a really great fun thing to do today. One thing I realized when we were talking about Whistler had a painting, and it was called The Woman in White, or something like that. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I wish I probably should pull it up. But when you look at that painting, you realize that it's really not white. It reads as white, but the painting isn't really white. And that the thing that when I was totally learning to paint, if I would paint something white, I would just paint everything white. I might put a little form in it, or a little gray in it, or a little blue in it. But I didn't really understand how to see all the colors that were happening, that were bouncing off of all the things around me. So it made a huge difference. So anyway, I think that would be. I think learning white is going to be pretty cool. I assume you're texting your husband and saying, "Get this dog out of here."
Come get the girl. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Well, she's sweet, and she probably wants another one of those bones that you just gave her.
I think it's the attention. She sees me getting attention somewhere else, and she's like, "Wait a second."
Yeah.
Well,
that's okay. So anyway, I'll just for a second. You've got a video out called "The Color of White." It's at lilyartvideo.com, and so that's something worth doing. I'll give Cheri a chance to kind of flit off and take care of the puppy, which is an adorable puppy, which probably eats 30 or 40 pounds of food a day, I would imagine. Joanne Manji also has Bernese Mountain Dogs, and so they're fabulous. My little dogs would be about the size of the bone that you gave them. So anyway, so I want to remind you guys while we're just waiting for Cheri that you can learn more about her at lilyartvideo.com, or that's where her videos are. She's going to do a little bit of a demonstration today and talk a little bit about not sure what you're going to talk about. Are you there?
I'm here.
You're back.
Just
right.
Getting the dog back to her crate. So what I'm going to talk about as soon as he comes and gets Zoe is, I'm just going to come in here. What I want to show you is actually the color of white going on, and how, even though this is a light colored chip.
So one thing you're going to need to do is whenever you turn away from your screen, we lose your audio. So you're going to have to kind of turn around and talk to us when you talk.
Okay, good.
All right. And I don't have any way I can zoom in the camera, so everybody's going to have to bear with us with the technology limitations that we have. Do you want to, while we're waiting for that to take place, you want to talk about the value study at the top, or is that part of what you're going to do?
Yeah, sure. Oh, here, he's come to save the day.
Hey.
The value study at the top, I did that for the color of white. And I really like doing value studies because, especially if you're dealing with white, you have a tendency when you're in the shadows to get it too light because it's a white object.
Can you pull that off there and bring it up to the screen?
Okay.
All right, and I'm gonna show you full screen now.
Okay. Good. That's better. Like that.
All right. Yes. So tell us what you were saying.
Okay. So when you're looking at this, even though we have white ducks, you can definitely see the shadow versus, I'm backwards, shadow versus the light here. And what students have a problem with is they go, it's white. So they make it white, or maybe white with a little black in it in the shadows. I mean, obviously this is a value study, so yeah, it has black in it, but they don't make this dark enough to read as shadow. So even though it's a light object, it still needs to fall in the whole overall shadow.
What is the concept about the lightest light and the darkest light in a shadow? Remember that?
Yes. So if I was looking at this one, and I have to look at this or I'll do it backwards. So really you've got your darkest dark is the back part, other than the dark accents down here. Your second one is in here. Third kind of, there's some shadow kind of coming back in there. Your lightest shadow are the ducks, the shadows on the ducks. But that lightest shadow is still darker than the darkest light.
Right.
It's a hard concept to say, but if you look at the lights, on this one, we have a little bit of light coming in that was water in the background. So that would be kind of your darkest light. Then we have this one on the ground, which would be your next one. And then really,
so that's your darkest light. Yeah.
Yeah, the light on the ducks are your lightest lights, and actually the lightest part of the painting. So,
well, what do we say? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the most important part is to just keep your lights lighter than your darks. You know, so everything that's in shadow, and people get confused because they think, well, this color is a dark color and that color is a light color. But there are lights and darks of every color. So on black and white, it simplifies it for you because you don't have to think of color at the same time. But you want all your lights lighter than all your shadows. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. I'm sure that people will be completely confused in the comments.
And here's another example, if I can get it not glaring.
Why don't you first off show it up close, really close, so you face the camera.
This is
and okay, yeah, now we should be able to hear you.
Okay, so if you can see this, the duck on, everything's backwards, sorry, on this side.
I know, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah,
everything's
I'm not used
backwards.
to it being on camera. So the duck on this side, can you see the light on it? It's really the lightest light on here. And then the second light's going to be the light on the ground. Also this side, oops, I go off there. It's there. And then if you go to the shadows, the duck with, over here.
I know it's very. Imagine being a weather person on TV and trying.
I don't know how they do it. They must do everything backwards their whole life.
They
Anyway, that's your lightest shadow. The other duck Yeah, see, you got me all mixed up now. The other chick, these are chicks, you guys. Told you it'd be fun. The other chick here is the second lightest. The ground in shadow is the third, and then the background here is the fourth, other than, dark accents underneath her feet.
So when you want to paint chicks, what do? You go to a farm, or do you go over to Tractor Supply and buy a couple?
That's what I did. That's why I had chickens, because I kept buying chicks.
Yeah, because they're like $1 a piece at Tractor Supply.
Yeah, they are. I've actually even gone in places and asked to borrow them, and it just depends on the place of whether they let me do that or not. I'm happy to buy something from them, but right now I live in the city, so I don't want chicks. But when
the problem is if you keep them, you got to raise them.
Exactly, and you got to take care of them and everything. And I did that for years, but I was on 10 acres, so it was a little bit different. Also, getting to know people that are out in farm country, and I recently had friends that brought over little ducklings to me so I could photograph them. So it helps having connections with animals. Especially if you want baby animals like ducklings or chicks,
right?
Because it's hard. I like to use all of my own photos, and you need to be someplace you can be laying down on the ground while you're shooting those.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's go into your little demo, and I understand that it's going to be. I'll just apologize to everybody because we're not able to zoom in on it. And I don't know, maybe you can zoom your iPad in. Do you think you can zoom it in?
I would have to move it forward. I could try.
Well, I mean, you just do the little
zoomy thing? I don't know. So, you got me frozen now. I don't think that worked.
Well, maybe because of the program we're in. Anyway, we'll just do it, and just remember that you're going to have to kind of turn towards us to tell us what you're doing.
Okay, so I'm just going to say before I do it right now, and I'm only going to do a little bit. The whole idea is to keep in the big shapes. That's what I want everyone to get the idea of. It's not about all the little details. You paint the dog before the fleas, and so you want the foundation there first, and you want to put your big shapes down. And the reason for that is so you can make adjustments.
Put that in the comments, everybody. Paint the dog before the flea.
Yes, exactly. So it's a good way to remember it anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and everything that's on here right now is shadows. So I'm just going to go ahead and put on a little bit of light so you can see how you get that punch of color.
All right.
With the color white.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, here goes.
All right. So we're going to work on this little tiny chick painting, and I'll try to do a little play-by-play without being too obnoxious. But
good. No, I appreciate it. I have to switch glasses here.
It's kind of hard to look that direction and paint and talk looking at the iPad. So, all right. So tell us what you're doing.
Okay, so right now I'm going to come in and I'm going to just lay in the color for here. I'm comparing it. It has more pink in it and not quite as bright and yellow as that.
Okay, now somebody in the comments said, what do you use as your white? Do you have one white, or do you use multiple whites?
I have one white. I use quick dry white. I used to use titanium white, but I paint really thickly. If we have time later, I'll show that up close. You can see how thick my paint is.
Okay.
If I don't use quick dry, it doesn't dry fast enough.
Yeah, okay. So you're putting it on pretty thick.
Yeah. So.
All right. Wow. See, to me, that takes courage, because it's like really makes that light stand out.
Yeah, and it's just, I got it, now I'm adjusting it. I don't call these mistakes because students are so worried to put something on the canvas. You have to put it on so you can make an adjustment. Yeah, there's pink in it, but it's not quite that pink. So I'm going to come in and I put more blue. Now I'm going to just adjust.
Yeah, it looks like you cooled it down a little.
Yeah, and then I warmed it up with a little yellow ochre. So the whole concept here is painting big shapes, because then you can make adjustments easier when you
So what's the reason for the underpainting? If you're going to paint over it anyway, you're not letting it show through. Why even have it?
A little bit of it does show through, especially in my darks.
Okay.
And if I didn't have that, my darks would be too heavy.
All right.
On the lights, yeah. Usually on the lights, you don't. There's not
You make that look so easy.
It is easier.
All right.
And obviously here, I'm not doing anything, with edges or anything like that yet, because I just want to get this concept.
It takes a lot of courage to paint on live when, when we're shooting video, we're typically not live, and if you mess up, we get it on video, but we can edit it out. So you have a lot of courage, Cheri.
Okay, you got me scared now.
Don't mess it up now.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you can see big shape there. Now I'm just going to come in, hopefully with a clean brush. Let me get a clean one.
Getting a bigger brush.
I just want a real clean brush because I'm going to do this really light part. And if I don't have a really clean brush, it'll pick up color from the brush and muddy it. And I don't like muddy color.
No.
Okay, this is the fun part, you guys.
Wow. See, I don't know if I'd have that kind of courage.
Usually at this point, if I'm doing a demo for students, I get a whoa, it scares them at first, but it's best to put it down boldly because nobody ever starts with muddy color and brightens it up. Almost everybody I know ends up muddying up their colors. So if I start bright and I need to tone it down, I can. But actually on this, I wouldn't. I will do a transition, not in this video, but later on between the two, but not a lot.
So we were talking on yesterday, we were talking about transition colors. Lynn Boyer was on, and she was talking about the color between the light and the shadow is typically pretty high chroma. Is that something you find too?
I go by the paint, what I see. And yes, it usually is, but not always. So I will try it. Like in here, I already have, it's pretty warm there. I could do a transition. It helps get rid of that hard line, and yet you still have fairly high chroma.
Nice, yeah. Uh-huh.
But when I notice on here, like it's really warm here, and it has a cooler part here before it goes to it. So I wouldn't just put warm there because I think, oh, I need high chroma. I'm going to do what is actually there, and I love the play of warm, cool. So I try not to think of rules, but just paint what I see.
See, I think it's fun when you're being that bold.
It is fun. This is the best part of the demo. That's why I saved this for you.
I glanced to the back of the room to some of my landscapes where I feel like my light is flat and thought, well, I think I need to just try that. See if I can just go crazy bold and see what happens.
Well, it just depends on the time of day, too, because you don't want to put it on a landscape that's from like a cloudy, rainy day, or it's not going to read right.
No, right. No, it's not a gray day kind of thing.
Yeah, as you come around here, you can see that it gets cooler. So I'm adding more white.
I can't really see your reference photo because your head's in the way.
See it?
Okay, now we can see it. Yeah, it's a little cooler. Now, can you speak to the idea of photos? Because we're not seeing that level of chroma in that photo whatsoever. Can you talk to a lot of people paint from photos and they're going to paint what they see there?
Right. Okay. So everything's relative. Sorry, I gotta switch my glasses because those are my painting glasses. Everything's relative. So I'm comparing, I'm not trying to copy, I'm not holding my brush up to the paint or painting or photo and trying to match it. I'm looking at, is this warmer or cooler than that? Is this value lighter or darker than that? So
Right.
I'm making relative decisions there between local color, how warm or cool it is, how intense or grayed out it is, and what the value is.
Okay.
So by doing that, it's those relative colors that give you that pow with the color. And that's why you kind of have to have the right color in the right spot. And you will have it if you have the right value, if you have the right local color. And when I say local color, I mean just what the object looks like without any different lighting on it.
Right.
People, think an apple is red, grass is green, all that, but most painters know that's not usually true because of whatever color light is on that. But for beginners, it's like, okay, so this was a little white chick. Okay, but let's look at it. Okay, we know this is in shadow because we've already decided that, and if we can't decide that, we should do a black and white. So we do understand that concept,
Right.
even though
Okay.
it's the light of shadow. I can see how warm that is there, and I can see that it gets cooler and a little more blue happening there.
We're
So,
having trouble hearing you when you're facing away. But so when you this shadowed chick that you had that you just started to laying color on, is that wet or dry? Are you laying it on a dry surface or a wet surface? Would it matter?
it's wet. I just did this like a half hour before I got on here.
Okay.
I just wanted, I have a show at McClary Fine Art right now, so all my paintings are out other than this one that's going inside. And I thought it's easier to understand the concept looking at something like this than a finished painting.
Absolutely.
And since I didn't have one that was in the works, I thought, well, I'll just quickly, block in one for you so you can, get the concept of it.
Outstanding. Good. I love it. Thank you.
Sure,
Are you going to do any more on that, or are you pretty much done?
I can. What do we have time?
You've got a little tiny bit. Yeah.
Okay, let's just do a little bit more so I can have fun.
This is fun.
Okay.
Any day.
Okay, so you need to get a slightly smaller brush.
The tension is building. I think what we ought to do is everybody watching should try to predict what she's going to do next, and what you would do. I'm looking at this now and trying to figure out what I would do next. I'm seeing a lot of chroma in those legs underneath that chick.
Like in here?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Now see how I just kind of have a blocked in form there, and by doing the lights, it's kind of making the foot.
Yeah, I wish we could zoom in.
I know.
Be
Maybe
nice.
at the end I can lift it up.
If we had our master photographer Scott, he'd be all over it.
Trying to set this up, I have to say, I was really missing Scott. It's hard to get lighting that you can paint in and be on camera in at the same time.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. For those who don't know, we have a Hollywood level video crew that does our videos. We wanted to make sure that they were spectacular. And the guy that we hired as our chief videographer came off of doing a lot of national network television shows, one Hollywood movie recently, and so, you know, he's really a stickler about quality and detail, which Cheri learned when she went into the studio with him. And then the rest of the crew, you know, Bryant has done many Hollywood movies and produced them and worked on the sets and so on. And Trevor has done a lot of animated films. So between the three of them, they've got quite a bit of experience. Now that beak comes alive.
Yeah, and I just needed, now see, that's a reflected light. I know you're way back there, but so it needed to lighten up. It's reflecting off there, but it can't be as light as these lights because reflective lights stay in the shadow.
Right. So is that one of the things I'm curious about, and we kind of talked about this yesterday with Lynn Boyer too, and that is that there's a temptation to blend where you have the light meeting the dark. Are you going to pretty much leave it like that? Are you going to soften those edges on the inside? What would you be doing?
I'll just do a little bit because that's all I would do is do a little bit. Usually, if I was in a better situation here, I would probably have one of my shadow brushes and one of the lights. And
so you have shadow brushes and light brushes, meaning you don't want to pollute anything with light that has any shadow color in it.
Yeah, because the lights, like right now, I'm not sure what I did with my light brush, and I think it's over here. No, not it. I'll grab another one. The problem is with that really light paint, if I switch from the blue, even if I wiped it really good, it'd still pick up some of that blue onto the yellow, and then would go my gray color.
So how do you control, how do you know which are your shadow brushes and your light brushes? Do you have a system?
No, I mean, each time it can be a different one, but just that day, what I pick up for one that's in the light, I don't want to, and I've done it before, where I dip it into the blue, and then I go, oh, dang, now I really got to wash it.
Well, that's because we all get lazy, and it's just easier to do it that way.
Yeah, but if you can kind of think and just keep it in the other hand when you're not using it, it can really help save a lot of cleaning. So see how that's just transitioning there a little bit.
Right.
The edge is a little softer. Now it's a little warmer.
Well, it just really made it come alive.
Yeah, and the purpose here wasn't to finish the painting because I know I don't have that great, I don't have spot here for lighting, but I wanted you to see how just keeping things simple. The students like to make things too hard, and if you get those basic shapes done, you don't have to do a lot more. I could, keep working on it, but it doesn't, it needs more, but not a lot. You don't have to do a lot between the edges.
So it looks like you're kind of creating a sense of a glow on top of it's like a lighter glow on top of the glow.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll do that where I might have it slightly darker underneath, and then come in where I really want it to pop, and usually that's around the head if that's what the subject calls for. I just want to get this transition here. And then if I was working, it's really hard as an artist not to keep going and try to finish a painting.
Yeah.
I'd love to show you edges and getting rid of things. I mean, I can do just a little bit here.
Yeah, it's kind of a restricted time.
Yeah, but did you see what I did with the edge there? Just in any spot I can. I like to get it so I can have a lost edge. And it's usually shadow into shadow that's really close in value.
Lost edges, shadow into shadow. Somebody will put that in the comments, I'm sure. Okay, so you're softening that up a little bit, that transition there.
Yeah, especially because this little wing, it does get, it's cool but lighter up there. So to make a little more form on that, it needs to be lighter. But it still has to stay in the shadow values.
It's amazing to me how that one little spot really helped change the sense of anatomy.
Yeah, it should give it more form.
Doesn't take much. I don't know if people watching on their phone can zoom in with their fingers on this or not. That's cool.
And you know, at the end here, I'll either bring it towards the camera or try to figure out how to bring my camera towards it.
Well, I'm just appreciative that you would do this for us today.
I thought it'd be fun. I was hoping you'd go for it.
Absolutely.
Let's see. And then it gets a little warmer. See over here, it's warmer underneath.
Right.
Just a little too light.
Well, this isn't something everybody gets to see every day, to watch the world famous Cheri Christensen do an animal live on social media. That's pretty cool.
See, that came out too light. Can you see it jumping?
Yeah, it pops out too much. What'd you do? Just lay a little dark over it?
Yeah. And sometimes, because I don't like to over mix my paint, I like broken color.
Yeah.
And by broken color, I mean paint that's not, you mix the paint a little bit, you're mixing two colors together or maybe three, then picking it up and putting it on, just leaving it. And, if I'm mixing, say I was doing phthalo blue, a little yellow ochre, and cad red light, I'm not going to totally mix them up. I want the individual colors still showing a little bit, because that way to the viewer,
right,
they mix it in their head.
Yeah.
It makes it more interesting to me anyway.
Well, this is fun.
Yeah, I'll stop here soon, but I just want to.
It's kind of ironic you have this giant $100,000 easel behind you and you're painting a 6x8.
I know. Well, it'd be a longer video if I was on this.
Yeah. Now, how big do you paint typically?
I think the biggest was probably like 60 by 70, something like that.
Oh, really? Wow. Pretty big.
But this will extend out.
Yeah. Outstanding. Well, we're just got a couple minutes left, Cheri, and so we're just going to let you do a couple more things, and then we're going to head out and wrap up the day.
Sure. Why don't I just take this out and put it up close as you.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, so we can really get a sense for it.
And obviously, it's not a finished painting, but really, this is what I wanted people to see were the big shapes. If I angle it.
Oh yeah, lean it forward a little. Now that you have it on a dark background, it looks like a piece of masonite. Did you do that intentionally so you're not staring at white? So you can...
Yes, because I paint with a lot of darker values. I don't like staring at white.
Yeah.
And I like the Venetian red gesso underneath because it brings the warmth through. It just, if I had stark white, it would be too much. And if you look at my palette, it's also, can you see it there?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, this is a good time. Grab your iPad and we'll show your palette, and then we show us your studio, and then we'll say sayonara.
Okay, great. Now I'm going to be walking around backwards, so just.
Okay, try to keep your voice close to the microphone.
Okay, so.
Okay, one thing I noticed that I think is an important studio tip is that you have a covered trash next to your easel. If
Yes.
it's not covered, you can have spontaneous combustion and wake up in the middle of the night with your studio burning down. It's happened to many people.
Oh, really? I did not know that, but since I have a puppy, and I've always had dogs, I have to have a covered trash can. I just can't take a risk.
Right.
Now, things are a little weird here because I have lights, but I'll try to go behind the lights. Oh, I don't know if you can really see here. I have a little couch that I can lay back on, and look at this. I have a puppy pen.
Wow, that's a big pin.
That's so my girl can be here while I'm in the studio.
Right.
And I have a mess, but you know what? It's a studio and it's supposed to be a mess. I'll try to walk forward. Again, I'm not really.
It's supposed to be a mess. We like messes.
Yeah, exactly. So between studio stuff and puppy treats, you will see underneath all of the stuff a lot of gambling paint. Let's see, what is it showing now? I'm trying to do the backwards thing here. You can
I think you need some more brushes.
Oh yeah, probably, huh? You know, I hardly ever throw my brushes away because each one of them gets a little different kind of tip on it.
Oh yeah.
And every once in a while, if you want a different kind of mark, it's fun to have. So yeah, I do like brushes. They're like magic, you know.
Oh, they are.
And then behind the brushes, you can see my computer there. So
Right.
that's kind of the office area. And then behind that, I don't know if you can see it because I had to cut the light. Can you see the books? I've got art books and stuff there.
Yeah.
And then more art books downstairs. But
of course.
Drawing racks over here. I know I'm just not used to this backwards thing. And I have lights in the corner so I can photograph my paintings. Let's see if I go this way.
You're making good use of that space.
Yeah, it's not a big space. I'll come back so you guys don't get dizzy. But it's workable, and I switch it. Oops, what happened to you?
Well, we lost your screen. I don't know.
Just a second.
We can hear you. We just can't.
Okay,
there we are.
So I shoot all my own photos of my paintings. So I just move, like I've got the master bath over there. So I just move stuff out, put my lights up, use this easel. And I have photography lights so I can shoot my own work because I found a long time ago that it's just too hard to pay somebody to shoot all my artwork and to get it to them on time and then get it to the galleries. Yeah,
well, learning that properly is very important. There's a guy in San Antonio there that used to work over at Greenhouse Gallery who really knows how to do it and taught it. And that's really critical. I was making comments to our editors today about some things that I found that needed to be a little sharper. The photograph wasn't quite sharp enough. We got to get them on tripods and make sure that they're well lit and lots of variations and have color cards and grayscales on them. So I'm just looking out the window. Cheri, I'm going to give you a little treat here. Give you a little treat of the scene this today.
Oh, beautiful. That's wonderful.
Here, there we go.
Excellent.
So that little there's a little boat down there that I paint from. That little metal boat down on the far end, that's my painting boat. The other boat belongs to my kids, and then that old boat in the middle is called a guide boat. It's 150 years old.
I love that wood boat.
And
that's beautiful.
Make a good painting. Anyway, it's a beautiful day, and so. All right. Well, this has been really a terrific treat, Cheri, to have you. Do you have any final thoughts or final tips for day number 140?
Have fun, enjoy it. It's part of the process.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being on. I'm going to make some announcements. So everybody give a thumbs up to Cheri. Cheri, what's your website?
CheriChristensen.com.
Okay. I happen to have it here.
All right. Thank you.
All right. CheriChristensen.com. So if you go to the website, you can see all kinds of things that Cheri's done. And also, where do we get your video?
Lilydale.
LilyArtVideo.com. I don't have that up. I should, but
You
Lily.
know what? There's a link on my website.
Perfect. Go to Cheri Christensen. Yeah, that's perfect because you have like 4 or 5 out.
Yeah, I have 5 now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we keep producing them because everybody wants them.
Great. It's wonderful. I enjoy it.
All right. Well, thank you again, Cheri Christensen, folks. Round of applause for Cheri. Thank you, Cheri. And I'll see you whenever I get back to Texas. Okay. Well, that was the amazing Cheri Christensen. And I want to thank you guys for watching today. A couple of reminders that comments, we like your comments. We like to know where you're from. And we will pick a winner for tomorrow from the comments. And it will be a Plein Air Magazine digital subscription. I'm going to give those away for the next few days. Also, our winner today was Deborah Daly in Flagstaff, Arizona. Remember today at 3 p.m., Street Scenes with the late Ken Oster. You want to see that. This guy is a national treasure. We have a $6,000 painting we're giving away in the month of August at paintinggiveaway.com. You want to go see that. And make sure that you get signed up for Realism Live before the price goes up because it's going up $100 on August 30th. We try to give you an incentive early on so we can pay some of those bills because we've got a lot of bills. And so get signed up before August 30th. And there's a beginner's day, or there is you can do beginner's day plus you can do all the 4 days. Make sure you get into pleinairsalon.com before the end of the month and get your paintings in. If you win in any category, you have an opportunity to be entered into the national competition to win the 15 grand cover of Plein Air magazine, plus lots of other cash prizes. And we have a competition now called the Artist and Selfie competition for self-portraits, portraits of artists, portraits of studio paintings of studios, and paintings of plein air people. You can follow me, Eric Rhoads, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I need to add Twitter to that list, and pretty much everything. Thanks again to Cheri Christensen. You can find her at cherichristensen.com. I'm going to get on an airplane. Next time you see me, I should be, God willing, I'll be in Austin, Texas, leaving the lake. I got to get the kids into college, and then it's going to be kind of a crazy 10 days of how I do this. I don't know. I won't have my typical microphone and studio and camera and everything, but we'll get through it. And I appreciate you guys and your patience. Thank you for being here every day. I'm Eric Rhoads, publisher of Plein Air Magazine and Fine Arts Connoisseur Magazine, plus lots of newsletters, conferences, events, and things. And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be day 141. Have a great day. Remember, Ken Oster today at 3 p.m.